Welcome to Van Life with Steve, and thank you for joining me for a trip through Montana, the Big Sky State. We're going to go ahead and get things started with Quake Lake, which is formerly known as Earthquake Lake. And this lake was formed as a result of a landslide resulting from an earthquake in 1959. Here's an overview of the lake right here. Now, Quake Lake is located a few miles to the northwest of the town of West Yellowstone, which is right outside the western boundary of Yellowstone Park. And I'm not quite sure if the mountain over there has a name, but the dead trees were kind of interesting. The earthquake that created the landslide that formed Earthquake Lake was 7.5 on the Richter scale, and at the time it was the second most powerful earthquake in the contiguous United States in recorded history. And essentially what it did is it kind of dammed up the Madison River, and they actually had to get the Army Corps of Engineers in there to figure out a way to kind of drain some of the water out because it was going to overflow. Now, this site is operated by the Forestry Service. And they have a nice little trail here you can walk up on these two large rocks. I'm not quite sure if it was tons or pounds, but I'm assuming the larger of these two rocks we're going to see here. Here's an overview of the landslide and the rock. I'm assuming one of the larger rocks here was 6 million pounds and not 6 million tons, but it could be tons. I don't know, 6 million tons is a lot, but it was a big landslide. And this is a nice thing the Forestry Service has done. There's actually a campground where the landslide occurred and 28 people were killed back when the earthquake took place in 1959. So looking out in the valley there, we're going to push forward to Butte, Montana. Now what you're seeing here, those are not horses. Those are actually statues that someone had created. And I don't know if you saw, there's a little pull off there, but it says no parking. So I just drove slow and make sure I got a good video of it. And now we're rolling up on Butte, Montana. On the top of the mountain there, the white figure there is Our Lady of the Rockies, which is actually the fourth tallest statue in the United States. It's 89 feet tall. That was built because a resident's wife recovered from cancer and they were able to get donations to build the statue, and it's a tribute to all women. Now we're looking at the Berkley Pit, which is this huge copper mine which is no longer operational. It's one of the largest Superfund sites in the world and has some of the most polluted water in the world. It has a similar acidity to Coca-Cola or gastric acid, and they do all sorts of things to try to scare birds away, including shooting rifles, because the birds will die if they land in there. On the other side of the Berkley Pit, I didn't get a good chance to take a good look down in it, but they do have a memorial to the miners that died in a fire. If you're enjoying this content, I'd appreciate it so much if you'd please give me a like, and please subscribe if you want to see more videos. I went to 26 national parks, including 25 in 60 days, and a whole bunch of national monuments and state parks and towns in between. And so if you would be interested in seeing any of those, please consider subscribing and turning on the bell for notifications. Thank you so much, and let's continue with the video. Now we'll continue heading north in Montana, and we'll make a stop in Anaconda to take a look at the Smelter Stack, which is the tallest surviving masonry structure in the world. It's actually made of bricks, and the stack itself is 555 feet tall. They have this little state park you can come and kind of hang out. They got little sculptures here and everything. I didn't necessarily think this was the best maintained park. Here's an exhibit showing you the circumference of the smelter stack, but it was pretty big. And finally, we're going to head up to the road, and I saw this on Atlas Obscura, and I said, hey, I got to check this out. Here's the Garden of 1,000 Buddhas, and you just wouldn't think you would see something like this in Montana, but it's there. And admission is free. They do ask for donations, and I'm not familiar enough with the Buddhist religion, so I'm going to be a little careful about calling things out because I don't want to get the names wrong and everything. I do know when you visit here that you're supposed to walk around clockwise in the garden. Each of these little, I guess they're called stupas, but each of them, they have a little label there in the front, and it says, on whose behalf that's been donated to the park. And here's this central sculpture here, right here. Pretty interesting looking. And then as you kind of head up the hill behind the garden, they have some more sculptures, and they have this tent type structure. And again, I'm not familiar with the religion, so I can't recall what all of these were called. The construction on the garden, I believe it only began in 2012, so it's fairly new. And so we're going to say goodbye to the 1,000 Buddhas. Again, it's free and open to the public. Just, make sure you be respectful and, pitch in a few dollars if you can. We're going to continue heading northward in Montana, but we're going to leave things here for now. Here's a look at Flathead Lake, which is a really cool lake, and some real cool stuff was happening with the wildfire smoke there in the sun. I want to thank you so very much for joining me for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will catch you in the next one. Thanks and take care. Bye.